Hello and welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial I will be creating a creeper. I'm going to be doing a tutorial for each mob, and we're going to start off with the creeper. So in this tutorial I'll just tell you how to find the skin for it, how to add a little bending into the torso, and pretty much that. And all the dimensions you would require if you wanted it to be just the right height if you were using the rig that I've created in the past. So let me just move this over. So let's start off with the head. So you're going to want to probably go to create geometry and make a box, and make it length 20, width 20, and height 20, and that's the size of the head. So what you're going to want to do next is there's either two ways we could do this, but probably the easiest would be to change the segments to the amount of the, so as we can see in the texture, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're going to probably want 8 segments in each one. So with the box selected, go into parameters and change that to 8. And we're going to use Boolean for this. You could go and convert to an editable poly and extrude the parts that shouldn't be, but it's probably better to do it this way. So go to box and create another little box. Change the segments to 1. Or 0, or change it automatically to 1. We just need to make sure we get the right size for this. So let's see. Or 2.5 in each one of them should be good enough. So after you've got that, you're probably going to want to go into the front view, and you're just going to want to just drag that down and right click on it and convert it to a poly, or maybe not in front view, it's up to you. And what you're going to want to do is go to the selection, polygon, and select the top face and just extrude it till you get the right shape that you want. So make sure it's 2.5 when you click the little box beside the extrude. Change it to 2.5 and extrude it as many times as you want. You can press plus, or you could just press tick and then re-extrude it again, but use plus. And that's pretty much what you have to do for the start. Now just line that up as close as you possibly can. Make sure you're not in editable poly, and just line that up as closely as you can. Make sure that the line at the bottom is slightly further out than the actual line, just so that when we use Boolean it doesn't keep a face underneath it, because that could be annoying. And then just move it back to about the amount you want. it to go in. And then we're going to want to create another box and get 5 by 5, I think would be it. And just drag that up. And just place it like you would. Closely as you can. Maybe even having the intersect. Make it just right. And just do the same to the other side. So now we've got the shapes correct. Just make sure the amount it's in isn't too much. And then what you're going to want to do is click back on the mouth bit and go to modifier, and in the edit geometry there should be attach the two the eyes. If they're different colors, they should be the same color after you've done this. And then what you're going to want to do is reselect the head, then go to create, geometry, and then on the drop down box standard parameters, go down to compound objects, and then go to pro boolean, and then start picking and select the eyes and mouth. And now you should have the shape for the head, which is exactly what we need. So now that you've done that, you're going to want to convert, right click and then convert to editable poly. And now we're going to add the texture to it. So to do this, you're going to want to either go to your Minecraft .minecraft folder and go to the jar, which should be in your app data roaming .minecraft bin, and then with something like WinZip or WinRAR or something, open that and go to mobs, and that it'll have all the skins. And if I'll leave a download link to one as well. So go press M or go to the Minecraft the material editor after you've got the skin, and just with the first box with the head selected, assign material to selection, and by diffuse there'll be a little box, grey box. Click it and standards bitmap, and then select the location of your skin and show shaded materials in Viewport. And as you can see, it looks crappy at the moment, but what you're going to want to do is, it's going to be blurry in the Viewport, but we'll get to that. So what you're going to want to do is select the head, go to modifier list drop down, and go to unwrap UVW, and then with selection select polygon, which is the flat square, and select by, change that to not being on, because if that is on, you won't. If you select the front and try and if you select this, you ought to be getting everything from the front, or the back won't be selected. But if you have that off, you'll select everything. So after you've done that, open UV editor, and you're going to want to do is, for all of them except for the front face, we'll leave that to last, is select all of them and in the edit UVs, the UV editor, go to mapping and then flapping mapping, flat, yeah, flat, and then you're going to want to go to drop down box where it says check your pattern and change it to map, whatever map it's called. I'm going to leave in the description a link to a Minecraft template for the skins so that you know what it is, because a lot of this you may not see which parts are for what. So when you've got that, if you want it, if you don't already understand that, go to drop down and go to pick texture and then maps standard bitmap, and then wherever you put the template it'll be all multicolored like this, and it should be pretty close to or exactly spot on to the map. And all it does is it will tell you what face it should be on. So you know, this face here should be on the right. So that's all we need to do now is match these faces up to their correct location. So with whatever face you want to start off with, just select it, press F2 if you don't see a red thing. If you might not want that, you may want it. I mean, it's so blurry without filtered maps on, which is default for Viewport, and you can't turn it off as far as I know. So you won't really be able to tell from the viewport if it's spot on, but you should be able to follow the template exactly, and it should look exactly what it should look like in the render. So after you've selected a face, I'd recommend using freeform mode, which is the fourth icon here, because it lets you rotate, move, and scale at the exact same time. So all you have to do is simply move it over. I'm just going to do mine really fast. So you just get it as close to the edges if you want, and just select another face and do that. You should definitely take more care than what I'm doing right now, because if it goes too far out, you may notice some small little white edges, which you're probably not going to want. So yeah, just be careful about this. You may, if filter maps are on, and they are still, if filter maps is on, you may notice a lot of white edges sometimes, because it does blur the corners of your material. So it could be inside the area, but it blurs it so it still has a bit of white in it. But as long as you turn filter maps off, you won't have that issue. Oops, I've done the wrong one. So after you've done those, you're going to want to select the front now. Pretty easy getting it from the side, and then holding down Alt and deselecting everything else. And then you're going to want to go to flat mapping again, and just do that. Alright. Yeah, sorry about that. Before you don't go to flat and go to normal mapping, and just click OK. And that means this image is now flat, so you should be able to just put that on the front. It should look alright. You probably will have to edit it if you can. Just tweak it, and you know, it should work pretty well. You know, you could always use vertex, which means you can select a simple one vertex and you can just move that all around instead. But that's not really recommended. Definitely with squares, because it's quite obvious if it's not straight. But you could always select just two of them from just, you know, here, and tweak them. But be careful if you can do that. So yeah, so if we were to render that, it would look pretty crap. But to fix that, just go to, in the render setup, just go to renderer, and under anti-aliasing and under default scan line render, filter maps, untick it, and then when you render it again, as you can see, there's no blurriness. It comes out fine. It may look like that in the viewport, but that's just the viewport. In the render, it won't. If you don't want it in the viewport, just because you just want it to look nicer in the viewport, just rescale the texture up. I believe I mentioned it in a previous one how to do that in Photoshop, so I'll link that as well in the description. Now to rescale them if you really want, but it's not necessary if you want the final product to be fine. You don't need to, but pretty much as you can see, it's very blurry. So after we've done that, we now need to create the torso. So go back to create, geometry, standard parameters, and create a box, and just create the box. And the parameters you want is for length is 10, width 20, and height 40. And you can even use the align tool, which is very helpful. Just click it and then click that, and that will center it to the face, and then we just move it down. Yeah, try to be as precise as you can to the head. And after you've done that, it's pretty much yeah, and change the length segments to something. You could have it like that, about 8, maybe 10 segments. I don't think you'll need them in the width and length, as you might not be. If you want, you could put them in, but the likelihood of them bending diagonal is unlikely. So after you've done that, it's pretty much the same with the head. You pretty much, unwrap VWs. I'm going to do this really quick, but I've mentioned it in quite a lot of tutorials now. Make sure, because everyone always mentions this, that they can't seem to select other faces, can't select all the faces or something like that. So make sure, ignore back facing isn't on, then you select them all. So yeah, so just select the front and normal mapping. You might want, you don't have to go for normal mapping, you can always go for flat mapping or normal mapping. It all depends really on what you want it to look like. So again, you might want the template. You may have to rotate it. Sure it's good. Right way. It can be very confusing. Very confusing. So yeah, just simply resize them as good as you can, and you just do the same with the sides. You can use normal mapping if you want. Oops. Or maybe not. Well, it just depends in certain situations. Flat mapping is better. In some cases, normal mapping is better. Though I don't know the difference. Just, you see the results, and if it works, then it works. If it doesn't, just CTR, Control Z, and then just retry. So yeah, just, line them up. Simple as that. You can rotate and all that. So, really quickly do this. I'd skip this, but sometimes it's better if Yeah, sides, it's just better to do flat mapping for the sides. Make sure you get the right rotation. Make sure you're getting on the correct. Yeah, just do, you know, the back and the front seem to always work better when you're using that. But it's all up to you. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. I'm just showing you how you could do it. There's another way you could do it, where you could just have only one face, and then afterwards using edges in the editable poly and add connect and add more lines for that way, which could have been a probably better way, but this way works as well. And just do the bottom and top. I'm going to show that because it's pretty much quite easy to show. So now that you've done that, onto something that is helpful is to go to create, system, and bones, and select bones. Now I'd recommend going in front view or some sort of front, top, or side view. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to in the center just create bones from the bottom to the top. Try to make them as straight as possible. Just do that. And when you've got enough, right click on it and that'll finish it. Try to make them the correct rotation, so just go into each one and make sure it's 90 degrees or 0 degrees or 180 degrees or 100 or 360 or 0. Should all work straight. Alright. So when you've done that, make sure they are in the middle of it. Just lay it by eye. And then you're going to want to select the torso. And after you've finished all the mapping, I recommend converting it to an editable poly. If you wanted to edit the mapping afterwards, just re-add the unwrap UVW and it should still remember everything you've done. But in some cases, when you have unwrap UV modifier still on it, it sometimes takes a while for it to load the object. So when you select it, it takes a while to let you do anything to it. So when you've done that, go to modify list and go to skin. And then you're going to want to add all your bones. So find the names of what they are. You could name them if you want. Just find them, and then with the bones, add them. So I'd recommend naming everything. If you're going to use them in a scene, it's always a good idea to name things. So just in case you don't know, if you wanted to select, say, all the bones, which you could if anything is attached to another object, if you double click on that object, it will select everything that's attached to that, which is quite useful to know. So definitely for bones, because you might want to select the entire arm and keyframe it, which you could do if you double clicked on the top part of the arm. So after you've got all that selected, if you didn't know already, you can go to Tools and rename objects, and then put in any name, creeper, spine, or anything, and then you're going to want to put tick numbered, and then it should number them. So anyway, back to this. If we try bending it now, you will notice it bends. Now you're probably going to want to tweak it, which if you really want to refine it and make sure it's really tweaked, you're probably going to want to tweak them all. So just on frame 0, just keyframe it, so press the big key with all of them selected, and at 100 re-keyframe it again, but this time with auto key on. Just rotate some of them about 20 or whatever you think is needed, just so we can get the idea of how it bends and how we can make it slightly more smoother. You may want to add more lines if you want. It's up to you. So as you can see, you could try and tweak them and see if it makes any better. So just with the, you can select the torso again and click Edit Envelopes, and pretty much you can increase the how much it controls of the object. So just tweak all that. You may want to go to local for this. You know, just tweak it as much as you think is needed. May need to tweak it quite a lot. Maybe you don't even want to tweak it. It might have looked alright the way it was already, but it's up to you. So yeah, just tweak it until you think it's got enough. I'm probably doing a terrible job because I'm not very good at skins. Probably one of my weakest things. So yeah, feel free to troll me in the comments about how crappy my skinning ability. So yeah, just tweak it. This is looking quite crap because of I'm not very good at it, but you're probably better than me. So, you know, just tweak it till you think it looks alright, which that doesn't, because I've done a terrible job of it. So, but yeah, just spend a few minutes or longer just editing it, trying to get it just right. And you know, that could look alright. But if you wanted to make it more smooth, or try and make it more smooth, you could always try going to Modify, List, and going down to Tessellate, which straight off the bat looks, oops, accidentally press 6. Just change that to operation on polygons and change the tension to 0, and pretty much you can just see it just adds more. Oops, I did it again. I did this last time. Make sure you're not in auto key. That's the worst thing that could possibly happen. So yeah, just see, as you can see, it adds more lines to the mill, which is useless after we've added the skin. But if you drag it underneath the skin, you can see it looks crap now. But if you wanted, you could go back into the envelopes and tweak it to work with the new ones that you've just added, which you're probably going to want to do. But that's up to you. But yeah, I'm terrible at doing this. Very, very terrible at this. Whoops. But yeah, just, you know, you can always go into the Tessellate and increase the amount of iterations in it. I did quite a terrible job of this, but you could do a lot more if you have the time. See, mine's slightly better in this one. It's not as good as it probably could be, but you know, I think it looks alright. As you can see, yeah. Gee, and freeze it. I'll quickly just show you what my other one looks like. Same amount of spines, I believe. So it's just tweaking the envelopes is all you need to do. And if you don't want to see the coloured things, just untick the show coloured faces on it, and you'll get this. Of course, the blue means it doesn't have any control over that. Red means it has complete control, and orange means it's in the middle of it. So yeah, so just tweak that. You'll do far better than me, because this is just a terrible example of skinning. So I'll quickly delete that. Oh, whoops! Delete the wrong one. But yeah. So yeah, it could look far better than mine. Just, you know, you got to take some time with it, and you'll get better at it. So if you're wondering why the head isn't following, you need to select the head. Now you've got two options. You could just go to the link constraint tool here at the top, beside the green icon right in the top corner, which might probably cut off from the Camtasia, but you could do that, and you could hold down it, selecting with the head selected, and choose the little bone at the very top, and when you rotate it here, you can do that. But another way, which I think is better, which you should do, if you ever want to have a creeper's head chopped off, you're going to want to go to Motion, with the head selected, go down, minimize Assign Controller, and select and click on Transform Position, Rotation, and Scale, and this little Assign Controller icon should glow, and choose Link Constraint. Now, as you can see, it's down there now, but with this, now just align it back up where it was. Shouldn't take too much work. Don't forget the angle snap toggle if you want to make it perfect. Line it up properly. But yeah, the reason you'd want to do this is because you got this link parameters here. This allows you to link it to an object and then unlink it to that object. So in an animation, let's say you want to pick up a ball, you could link it to the world, and then at a certain point when a hand picks it up, it links it to that hand, and then when he wants to drop it, it links it back to the world. So when it's linked to the world, it's not being controlled by any other object, but when it's linked to a certain object, it is. Which is really good, and it's very useful if you want to make his head chop off, because if you had it connected to an object and that object happened to move after the head had been chopped off and you didn't have a link to world, the head would move with the body. But if you link it to the world afterwards, it allows you to keep it from doing that. So now we've done that, it's just the feet now. So I won't really go into much. I won't really show the UVs because it's just like I've shown you twice now already. So all I will do is just tell you the dimensions and the pivots, because that's quite important. So just make a box, and the dimensions for this is 10, 10, 12. And just line it up as good as you can. It should be about right side. Now you don't have to copy, but I have to double check it. Yep. So you just recreate that and change the segments to 0, because you don't need any more segments in it. Now you just have to UV map that, then just hold down Shift and move it over, and then do the same with the other side. And you may want to invert a few maps if you want, which is quite easy to do. But yeah, so pretty much that's that. So now you're probably going to be wondering about pivots. So as you can see on mine will just, if I rotate it, it will rotate on that very corner, which is very useful. And same with the head. As with this head, oh, well, the head works on that one, but as you can see on this, it's centered there. So, oh yeah, and make sure that's down there. Anyway, so what you're going to want to do is, if you go into front or side view is probably better. So what you're going to want to do is go to hierarchy and go to pivot. If it should already automatically be on pivot, and with the object selected, it says affect pivot only. Now you should always use this if you ever want an object that you want to center to the object. So you know, center alignment center to object. We don't. We want to put it to the corner. So we have to eye it as closely as possible to the corner of this object. I'm sure there's probably an easier way to do it, but it's not that difficult. Just make sure it's like that. So now, if we, let me go back and shade it. There we go. If we go off affect pivot only, it now goes on that. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And of course the eyes, which are pretty simple. Just create a box, align it to the head, and you could put the restrictions on it, which you might want to do. It's up to you. And just, you know, size it to something you think is right. I'm going to go for 2.5. Just put that in the middle. 2.5 is probably too big, but you know, just get that as close as you think you can. Now you may want to, and then you got to go to the link tool. Now you could do the link straight other way, like I mentioned, but as I think you're not probably going to have his eyes being removed from his head, which if you are, you know, go the other way, but it's more likely your head's going to be completely severed than just their eyes. Just hold down and just link it to the head. So when the head moves, the eye moves. So that's pretty much it. Could put restriction on how far it goes, but I think it's pretty obvious how that's going to go. But one more thing, you could always go to heresy and go to link info, and you could always stop it from, it's probably not going to want to go this dimension, so you could lock the y-axis. Oops. Y-axis. Well, yeah, I locked the wrong axis. There you go. So now you can't move it in that direction, which you might want to do, you might not. You may want to lock all the other rotations. It's the small things that you might think of as being useful. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'll leave. Oh, one more thing. In case you wanted to have glowing eyes, but it's probably better tutorials for glowing eyes. But if you wanted them to be glowing in the dark, you could use self-illumination. So just change the self-illumination, which is on the material that we've just assigned, which is just simple assign to it, and just change the diffuse color to red, and just change the self-illumination to 100. So no matter what the lighting situation is, it will always glow completely that color. So that's pretty much it. You could always use lens effects if you want a bigger glowing effect, but or use something from mental ray or V-ray. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I'll leave the skin and the skin template for the creeper in the description. I'll also leave the destination of where the Minecraft mobs are, even though it's pretty simple, it's just in the Minecraft jar. But and also one more thing. If you wanted something like a Taurus thingy I've made here, just create a simple Taurus, which can't find it. Taurus. It's just going to create geometry, standard primitives. Just quickly make that, you know, line it to this bottom bone, because that's probably going to be the one you're going to want to use. So you can probably want to freeze your torso. So just go to right click, object properties, freeze, and show frozen gray. Untick that. I'd name that as well, because if you're going to do this, you're really not going to want to keep it from. So yeah, just link that bottom bone to the torus, and link every other the feet and all that to whatever it's supposed to be. The feet will go to the little bottom bone. So then all you have to do is move the torus, and it will move it, which is quite useful because you don't want to have to go to wireframe just to select the creeper. So, and also forgot this. Object properties. Right click again, object properties, and under rendering control, untick renderable. So that means that when you render it, there won't be any torus. There shouldn't be any torus. Did I not save it? Yeah, right. Untick that. And then when you untick that, there's no torus. See? Completely gone. I forgot to do all my overcreeper. So pretty much that's it. Like I said, it's in the description. Hope you found this tutorial helpful. Don't forget filter maps under anti-aliasing. Everyone always seems to forget that. Simple is right there under renderer. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you found it helpful, leave me a like, maybe a comment. If you need any help, leave a comment and I'll try and help you. If you didn't like it, dislike it. It's up to you. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.